When Gold's fiancé sold her for money, she never imagined she'd end up married to his Korean Mafia uncle, a man whose power could destroy kingdoms and whose dark eyes promised both protection and damnation. If you love stories where betrayal leads to dangerous passion, hit that subscribe button right now because this journey is going to get wild. How much? Gold shouted, looking directly at Min-jae now. How much did they pay you? His face went pale. That was answer enough. You sold me, she whispered, the realization hitting her like physical force. This wasn't about falling out of love or growing apart. Someone paid you to divorce me. It's not like that. How much, Min-jae? He finally looked at her, and she saw the man she'd loved dissolve into a stranger. The investment in my company. The expansion deals. They were contingent on certain personal arrangements. Gold felt something crack inside her chest. Say it clearly. Mr. Choi wanted me unattached for his daughter, Min-jae said, his voice barely audible. The business opportunity was too significant to refuse. The lawyer coughed. Mr. Park, I advised against. I know what you advised, Min-jae snapped. Then, to Gold, you'll be taken care of. The settlement is fair. Fair. Gold laughed, sharp and bitter. You accepted money to erase our marriage like it was a bad contract. You're moving in with her tonight, aren't you? With Mr. Choi's daughter. His silence confirmed it. Gold signed the papers. Each stroke of the pen felt like cutting herself open, but she made every signature clear and deliberate. When she finished, she stood with her head high. I hope it was worth it. I hope every moment with her reminds you of what you really are. She walked out of the courtroom into the late afternoon sun, blinking against the brightness. The courthouse steps stretched before her, and she descended them carefully in her heels, each step taking her further from the life she'd known. Mrs. Park. The voice came from her left, deep and precise. Gold turned. A man stood beside a black sedan that looked like it cost more than her apartment. He was tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a suit that was somehow both elegant and dangerous. His face was striking, sharp jawline, dark eyes that seemed to see through skin and bone to whatever lay beneath. Two men in similar suits flanked him at a respectful distance. Not Mrs. Park anymore, Gold said automatically. As of 10 minutes ago. I know. He moved toward her with a kind of controlled grace that spoke of absolute physical confidence. I watched the proceedings. Gold's instincts flared. Who are you? Kang Do-hyun. He stopped 3 feet away, maintaining a precise distance that felt both respectful and calculated. Min-jae's uncle. She stared at him. Min-jae had never mentioned an uncle. His parents were dead, and he'd always claimed to have no family beyond distant cousins. Do-hyun seemed to read her confusion. We're not close. I prefer it that way. Then why are you here? To make you an offer. His eyes never left hers. They were unsettling eyes, dark and bottomless. Marry me. Gold laughed. It came out slightly hysterical. Is this some kind of joke? Did Min-jae put you up to this? Min-jae doesn't know I'm here. And I don't joke about marriage. Then you're insane. Gold turned to leave. He sold you for 300 million won and a guaranteed contract with Choi Industries, Do-hyun said quietly. The deal was signed 2 months ago. He's been sleeping with Choi Yuna for 4 months. Your entire divorce was choreographed by lawyers and business consultants. Gold froze, her back to him. You weren't just divorced, Do-hyun continued. You were a transaction. A line item in a business proposal. She turned back slowly. How do you know all this? Because I know everything that happens in this city. He said it without arrogance, just stating fact. And because Min-jae is a fool who talks too much when he drinks. That doesn't explain why you're here. Or why you just proposed marriage to a woman you've never met. I have my reasons. Do-hyun gestured toward his car. Get in. We'll talk properly. Absolutely not. You're in shock. You're angry. You have nowhere to go because Min-jae has already changed the locks on the apartment. Yes, I know that too. Your credit cards will stop working by tonight. That's in the settlement you just signed, though I doubt you read the fine print carefully. Gold's jaw tightened. What do you want from me? 20 minutes of your time. Then you can make an informed decision. Every instinct told her to walk away. But he was right about one thing, she had nowhere to go. Her parents were dead. Her few friends were really Minji's friends. And she'd just signed away her immediate financial security without reading the details because she'd been too angry and hurt to focus. 20 minutes, she agreed. In a public place. Do-hyun smiled slightly. It didn't reach his eyes. I own most of the public places in this district, but I appreciate the precaution. There's a cafe 2 blocks from here. We'll walk. He dismissed his guards with a subtle gesture and started walking. Gold fell into step beside him, hyper-aware of his presence. He was perhaps 15 years older than her, she estimated. Early 40s. He moved like someone who'd never questioned his right to occupy space. The cafe was small and expensive-looking, the kind of place with artistic light fixtures and minimalist furniture. The moment they entered, the barista's eyes widened. She bowed deeply. Mr. Kong, your usual table is ready. They hadn't called ahead. Gold filed that observation away. Do-hyun led her to a corner booth with a clear view of the entrance. He sat with his back to the wall. Gold took the opposite seat. Coffee, he offered. Information, she countered. You said you'd explain. Direct. I like that. Do-hyun leaned back. Here's what you need to understand about Min-jae. He's weak. Always has been. His father, my half-brother, was weak too. Good men, both of them, in the sense that they wouldn't harm anyone deliberately. But weakness is its own kind of harm. That doesn't answer my question. I'm providing context. His voice remained level. Min-jae accepted money to divorce you because he saw it as a business opportunity. He didn't consider that the people who buy loyalty once will expect to buy it again. He's now indebted to the Choi family in ways he doesn't understand. Again, what does this have to do with you proposing marriage? Do-hyun's dark eyes fixed on her. The Choi family is connected to certain organizations. Criminal organizations. By accepting their money and marrying their daughter, Min-jae has become a liability. He doesn't understand the world he's entered. Criminal organizations, Gold repeated carefully. You mean the Mafia. Among other things. And you. I lead one of those organizations. He said it the way someone might mention they were an accountant. The largest in Seoul, actually. Gold should have stood up and left. Should have run. Instead, she heard herself ask, why would a mafia boss want to marry his nephew's ex-wife? Several reasons. First, you're more intelligent than Min-jae. You just proved that by asking the right question. Second, you have resilience. You walked out of that courtroom with your head high even though your entire life just collapsed. Third, marrying you would embarrass Min-jae publicly, and I enjoy watching him squirm. Those aren't reasons to marry someone. No, Do-hyun agreed. The real reason is that the Choi family is a rival organization. They wanted Min-jae as a political asset, a legitimate businessman they could control. But you were in the way. So they removed you. Gold's hands curled into fists on the table. They paid him to divorce me. Yes. And now you're exposed. You are married to a man who's become entangled with organized crime. You know things, even if you don't realize it. You're a loose end. The Choi family doesn't like loose ends. Are you saying I'm in danger? I'm saying you became a target the moment you signed those papers. Do-hyun's expression didn't change. They'll watch you for a while to ensure you're not a problem. If you disappear quietly into obscurity, they'll probably leave you alone. But if you cause trouble, or if you're perceived as a threat. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Gold's mind raced. This is insane. I'm nobody. I don't know anything about Minji's business. You lived with him for 3 years. You hosted dinner parties. You met his associates. You have information in your memory that you don't even know is valuable. Do-hyun leaned forward slightly. And now you're vulnerable. Alone. Angry. That makes you unpredictable. So you're here to kill me? Warn me. Gold's voice shook despite her attempt to control it. I'm here to offer you protection. His gaze intensified. Marry me. Become part of my organization. You'll be untouchable. That's insane. That's practical. Do-hyun gestured to the barista, who immediately brought 2 cups of coffee without being told what to order. Think about it logically. You have no money, no home, no support system. Min-jae destroyed your professional reputation along with your marriage, yes. He's been spreading rumors about you for weeks to justify the divorce. You're starting from less than 0. Gold gripped her coffee cup, needing something to hold on to. And you're offering what, exactly? To be your Mafia wife. I'm offering you safety, resources, and revenge. In that order. What would you get out of it? Political advantage. Min-jae becomes a joke in both legitimate and illegitimate circles. The Choi family loses face. And I gain a wife who won't bore me, which is rarer than you'd think in my world. You don't know anything about me. I know you're educated Seoul National University, degree in literature. I know you worked in publishing before Min-jae convinced you to quit and focus on being a supportive wife. I know you grew up in Busan, moved to Seoul at 18, put yourself through university. No siblings. Parents died in a car accident when you were 25. Do-hyun sipped his coffee. I know you're 29 years old. You prefer tea to coffee, but you're drinking it anyway, and you haven't cried once since leaving that courtroom. Most people would have broken down by now. Gold stared at him. You investigated me. Of course. I investigate everyone. He set down his cup. Here's what I'm proposing. A marriage of convenience. Full legal protection under my name. A generous monthly allowance. Access to lawyers, security, anything you need. In exchange, you play the role of my wife in public. Attend events, present a united front, help manage certain social obligations. And in private? In private, we establish boundaries we both can live with. I have no interest in forcing intimacy. You'll have your own space. Your own life, within reasonable security parameters. This is crazy, Gold said, but her voice lacked conviction. Crazy would be refusing and trying to survive alone. Do-hyun's expression remained neutral. The Choi family will make their move within a week. Maybe just surveillance. Maybe something more direct. You won't see it coming. How do I know you're telling the truth? How do I know you're not just as dangerous as they are? I am more dangerous than they are, Do-hyun corrected. But I keep my word. If you marry me, you become mine. I protect what's mine. The possessiveness in his tone should have frightened her. Instead, something in Gold's chest responded to it, the promise of belonging to something powerful after feeling so utterly powerless. I need time to think, she said. You have until tomorrow morning. After that, my offer expires. Do-hyun stood smoothly. I'll have a car take you to a hotel for tonight. It's already arranged. Paid for. Safe. I haven't agreed to anything. No, but you will. He pulled out a business card, set it on the table. Call that number when you decide. Or when the Choi family makes contact. Whichever comes first. He walked toward the exit, then paused and looked back. Gold. That's your real name. My mother loved Western things. She thought it sounded precious. Something flickered in Do-hyun's expression. It suits you. Something valuable that everyone wants to possess. Then he was gone, leaving her alone with cold coffee and impossible decisions. The hotel was obscenely luxurious. Gold stood in the marble bathroom, staring at her reflection. She looked the same. Same dark hair, same brown eyes, same face. But everything inside had shattered and reformed into something harder. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. The text read, "Asterisk, this is a courtesy warning. Stay away from Min-jae and his new family. Any attempt at contact will be considered hostile. C.Y, asterisk. Choi Yuna." The woman Min-jae had chosen over her. Gold's hands trembled as she typed back, "I want nothing to do with any of you." The response came immediately, asterisk good. "Keep it that way, asterisk." But then another message, "We'll be watching." Gold deleted the texts and sat on the edge of the enormous bed. She pulled out Do-hyun's card, studying the simple black text. Just a name and number. No business title. Men like him didn't need titles. She thought about Min-jae, probably celebrating his new life right now. Thought about the Choi family, discussing her like a problem to be managed. Thought about starting over with nothing while they all got everything they wanted. Then she thought about Do-hyun's offer. Dangerous. Insane. Absolutely reckless. But also powerful. Protected. A chance to transform from victim to player in a game she hadn't known she was part of. Gold made her decision. She dialed the number. He answered on the first ring. That was faster than I expected. "I have conditions," Gold said. "Name them. I want complete honesty between us. No more revelations about criminal organizations or death threats after we're married. Everything on the table now." Agreed. "I want my own money. A real job, if possible. I won't be a kept woman. I can arrange that. And I want Min-jae to know exactly what he lost. I want him to watch me become everything he never appreciated. There was a pause. Then Do-hyun's voice came through, dark with approval. I think we'll get along very well, Gold. When? She asked. The ceremony is tomorrow afternoon. I've already made arrangements. That's too fast. The Choi family moves quickly. We need to move faster. Tomorrow, or we wait until they decide you're enough of a problem to eliminate. Gold closed her eyes. This was really happening. Tomorrow, then. I'll send someone to collect you at noon. Wear whatever you want. The wedding will be private but legally binding. Do-hyun, she said before he could hang up. Why are you really doing this? The truth. Another pause. Longer this time. Because Min-jae is a fool who threw away something rare, Do-hyun finally said. And I've built an empire by acquiring what others are too stupid to value. The line went dead. Gold sat in the silence of the hotel room, her heart pounding. Tomorrow she would marry a stranger. A criminal. A man who commanded fear and respect in equal measure. But she wouldn't be a victim anymore. She wouldn't be sold, discarded, or erased. She would be Kang Do-hyun's wife. And God help anyone who underestimated what that meant. If you're as hooked as Gold is trapped, smash that like button and drop a comment telling me if you think she's making the right choice, because things are about to get much more complicated. The car arrived at exactly noon. Not a minute early, not a minute late. Gold had learned something important already. Do-hyun's world ran on precision. She'd chosen a simple cream dress from the hotel boutique, paid for with a credit card that had appeared under her door that morning along with a note in sharp handwriting, asterisk for immediate expenses. K.D. asterisk. The driver was one of the men who'd flanked Do-hyun yesterday. He opened the door without speaking, and Gold slid into the back seat. They drove through Seoul in silence, leaving the commercial districts behind for quieter, wealthier neighborhoods. The car finally stopped in front of a traditional Hanok house, incongruous among the modern buildings surrounding it. The curved tile roof and wooden beams spoke of old money, the kind that didn't need to announce itself. Do-hyun waited at the entrance, dressed in a perfectly tailored black suit. He looked like danger wrapped in expensive fabric. You came, he said as she approached. Did you think I wouldn't? I thought you might spend the night convincing yourself this was a terrible idea. His dark eyes assessed her. You look beautiful. The compliment was stated like a fact, not flattery. Somehow that made it more affecting. Where's everyone else? Gold asked, looking around. No guests? No ceremony? Inside. Just the officiant and 2 witnesses as legally required. I don't believe in spectacle for important matters. He offered his arm. Gold hesitated only a moment before taking it. His body was solid under the fabric, radiating controlled strength. They walked through the house to a small courtyard garden. An older woman in formal dress waited there with 2 men Gold didn't recognize. The ceremony itself took less than 10 minutes. Gold spoke her vows in a voice that didn't shake. Do-hyun's responses were steady and sure. When the officiant pronounced them married, Do-hyun leaned in and kissed her brief, chaste, but his lips were warm against hers. The touch sent an unexpected jolt through her system. It's done, he said quietly, only for her ears. You're protected now. The witnesses departed immediately. The officiant handed them the marriage certificate and bowed deeply before leaving. Within minutes, Gold and Do-hyun stood alone in the garden. That's it? Gold asked. No reception? No announcement. The announcement goes out this afternoon. I wanted you to have a few hours before the chaos starts. Do-hyun gestured toward the house. Come. I'll show you your rooms. Rooms? Plural. Did you think I'd force you into my bed on day 1? His tone held dark amusement. I'm many things, Gold, but I'm not a savage. You'll have your own suite. Connected to mine, but separate. He led her through the Hanok. Despite its traditional exterior, the interior was modernized with subtle luxury, heated floors, discreet lighting, furniture that blended contemporary comfort with classical design. Her suite was spacious, decorated in soft grays and whites. A bedroom, sitting room, bathroom larger than her old apartment's living room, and a walk-in closet that was currently empty. Your clothes will arrive tomorrow, Do-hyun said, leaning against the doorframe. I had a stylist prepare a wardrobe based on your measurements and preferences. If anything doesn't suit you, it can be exchanged. Gold turned to face him. You had my measurements? I told you. I'm thorough. He straightened, crossing his arms. We should discuss expectations before the news breaks. All right. In public, we present as a devoted couple. You defer to me in business settings, but I'll never contradict you in social ones. You're not my accessory, you're my partner. The distinction matters in my world. What about in private? In private, we're honest. You want something, you tell me. You're uncomfortable with something, you tell me. I'll extend the same courtesy. Do-hyun's gaze intensified. I don't tolerate lying or manipulation in my organization. That includes from you. Fair enough. What about intimacy? Gold forced herself to meet his eyes. You said you wouldn't force anything, but marriages usually involve sex, Do-hyun finished bluntly. We're adults. We can discuss this like adults. I find you attractive. Very attractive, if I'm being honest. But I have no interest in taking something that isn't freely offered. Heat crept up Gold's neck. So we're just roommates with a marriage license? For now. If that changes, it changes. But it will be because we both want it to. He pushed off the doorframe. I have business to handle. Make yourself comfortable. There's food in the kitchen, and the staff will assist with anything you need. Staff. A housekeeper comes daily. A cook prepares meals. Security is always present but invisible unless there's a problem. You won't see them, but they're there. That's unsettling. That's safety. Do-hyun moved toward the door, then paused. Gold. One more thing. Min-jae will see the announcement this afternoon. He'll likely try to contact you. I don't want to speak to him. Good. Because if he approaches you, my people will ensure he doesn't get close. But you should be prepared for his reaction. What do you think he'll do? Do-hyun's smile was sharp. Realize he made the worst mistake of his life. After he left, Gold explored her new prison, because that's what it was, wasn't it? A gilded cage. She touched the expensive fabrics, tested the water pressure in the massive shower, stood at the window looking out at Seoul stretching below. Her phone rang. Min-jae. She let it go to voicemail. Then listened to the message. Gold, what the fuck? You married my uncle? My uncle? Are you insane? You can't, he sputtered, anger and disbelief warring in his voice. Call me back. Now. She deleted it. Another call came immediately. And another. Finally, a text. This is revenge. I know it is. But you don't understand what you've done. Do-hyun isn't who you think he is. Asterisk. Gold texted back. Asterisk funny. He's exactly who he says he is. Can you claim the same? Asterisk. She blocked his number. The news broke an hour later. Gold watched it unfold on her phone, social media exploding, business news sites picking it up, speculation running wild. Kang Do-hyun marries nephew's ex-wife in shocking union. Business titan weds day after her divorce finalized. Sources say marriage may impact Choi family business deals. Her phone rang with an unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. Mrs. Kang. A woman's voice, cold and sharp. This is Choi Yuna. I have nothing to say to you. You've made a grave error. Aligning yourself with Do-hyun won't protect you, it will destroy you. He's using you to undermine my family's business interests. That's not my problem. Everything about Kang Do-hyun is your problem now. Yuna's voice dropped lower. You think you're safe because you married him? You're just a pawn in a game you don't understand. Maybe. But at least I'm not the other woman who destroyed a marriage for a business deal. Gold surprised herself with the venom in her voice. How does it feel knowing Min-jae only wanted you because your father paid him? Silence. Then, you'll regret this. Add it to the list. Gold hung up. Her hands were shaking. She'd just made an enemy of the Choi family. Possibly a dangerous one. The door to her suite opened. Do-hyun entered without knocking, moving with the confidence of someone who owned every space he occupied. The Choi daughter called you, he said. Not a question. How did you? I monitor calls to this house. Security protocol. He crossed to where she stood by the window. What did she say? That I made a mistake. That you're using me. That I'll regret this. All true, except the last part. Do-hyun stood close enough that she could smell his cologne, something dark and expensive. I am using you. You're using me. That's the arrangement. But you won't regret it. You're very confident. I'm very thorough. There's a difference. His gaze dropped to her lips, then back to her eyes. You stood up to her. Good. I probably shouldn't have provoked her. You absolutely should have. The Choi family respects strength and despises weakness. You just established that you're not afraid of them. Even though I am? Fear and courage aren't opposites. Courage is acting despite fear. Do-hyun reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was surprisingly gentle. You'll learn to navigate this world, Gold. And I'll teach you. The touch lingered in her awareness, even after he dropped his hand. There was something magnetic about him, something that pulled despite all rational warnings. Why are you really helping me? She asked. And don't give me the political advantage speech. There are easier ways to undermine the Choi family. Do-hyun was quiet for a long moment, studying her face. My first wife, died 7 years ago. Cancer. She was the only person who ever stood up to me, who told me when I was being an arrogant ass, who made me remember I was human and not just a weapon in an expensive suit. Gold hadn't expected that. I'm sorry. After she died, I built my empire larger. Made it more ruthless. Forgot what it felt like to have someone beside me instead of behind me. His dark eyes held hers. Then I saw you walk out of that courtroom with your head high and murder in your eyes, and I thought there. That's the kind of strength I recognize. So I remind you of your dead wife. That's comforting. No, you're nothing like her. She was gentle, kind, diplomatic. Your fire waiting for the right spark. Do-hyun's voice dropped lower. I married her because I loved her. I married you because I respect you. The latter is rarer. Before Gold could respond, his phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression hardening. We have a problem. The Choi family is moving faster than anticipated. They've sent people to your old apartment. There's nothing there. Min-jae took everything. They're not looking for things. They're making a statement. Do-hyun was already moving toward the door. Stay here. Don't leave the house. I'll handle this. Wait, what kind of statement? He looked back, his face carved from stone. The kind that involves fire. Then he was gone, leaving Gold alone with the sick realization that this war she'd stepped into was very real and very dangerous. Drop a comment right now, Team Do-hyun or Team Runaway. Because Gold's about to find out exactly what kind of man she married. The hours crawled by. Gold tried to distract herself with television, with her phone, with exploring more of the house. Nothing worked. Every sound made her jump. Finally, near midnight, Do-hyun returned. His suit jacket was gone, his shirt sleeves rolled up. There was a smudge of something dark on his forearm. Is that blood? Gold asked, standing quickly. Not mine. He moved to the bar in the corner of the living room and poured whiskey. Want some? Yes. He handed her a glass, their fingers brushing. Your old apartment building is fine. I got there before they could do anything permanent. But they were planning to burn it. There are families in that building. Children. They don't care. That's what you need to understand about the Choi family. They're not strategic, they're vindictive. Do-hyun drained his glass. But they'll think twice now. What did you do? What was necessary? His tone discouraged further questions. Gold sipped the whiskey, feeling it burn down her throat. This is what my life is now. People trying to burn down buildings because I married you. Yes. You could have warned me it would escalate this fast. Would you have made a different choice? Do-hyun set down his glass and moved closer. Be honest. Gold met his eyes. No. Then the warning would have been pointless. He reached out and took her glass, setting it aside. You're shaking. I'm angry. And scared. And I don't know which feeling is winning. Both can be true simultaneously. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. You're safe here, Gold. I promise you that. How can you promise that? If they're willing to burn down buildings. Because I'm willing to burn down empires. His voice was soft, but absolutely certain. And they know it. The intensity in his gaze made something clench low in her stomach. This was dangerous ground, not because of the Mafia war, but because of the way her body responded to his proximity, his touch, his absolute confidence. Do-hyun, she whispered. Tell me to leave. If you want me to go, say it now. She should. This was too fast, too much, too complicated. But when she opened her mouth, what came out was, stay. His eyes darkened. You don't know what you're asking. I'm asking you to stay. To talk to me. To help me understand this world I've entered. Gold's heart hammered. Unless you meant something else? A slow smile curved his lips. You're playing with me. I'm establishing boundaries. You said we'd be honest with each other. I did. He didn't move away. Here's honesty then. I want to kiss you properly. I want to know if you taste as good as I imagine. I want to see if that fire in you burns as hot as I think it does. But you won't. Because you promised not to push. Exactly. His thumb traced her lower lip. So if anything happens between us, it will be because you ask for it. Because you want it as much as I do. The air between them crackled with tension. Gold could feel her pulse in her throat, her lips, everywhere he might touch. What if I don't know what I want? She asked. Then we wait until you do. Do-hyun stepped back, breaking the spell. Get some rest. Tomorrow we have a dinner to attend. Formal. Political. The Choi family will be there. You're taking me into enemy territory? I'm showing the city that you're mine. That you're not afraid. That we're united. His expression hardened. And I'm making it clear what happens to people who threaten what belongs to me. I'm not property. No. You're power. There's a difference. He moved toward the connecting door between their suites. The stylist will come in the morning with dress options. Choose something that makes you feel invincible. He paused at the threshold. Gold. What you did today, standing up to Yuna, staying calm during the chaos, you're stronger than you realize. Or more reckless. In my world, they're the same thing. Sleep well, wife. The door closed behind him, leaving Gold alone with her racing thoughts and the lingering heat of his touch on her skin. She was married to a mafia boss. She'd made enemies of a powerful crime family. She was walking into a formal dinner tomorrow where everyone would be watching, judging, waiting for her to fail. And the most dangerous part? She was starting to enjoy it. The next morning came too quickly. Gold woke to find a team of people in her suite, the stylist Do-hyun had mentioned, plus a hair and makeup artist. Mrs. Kong. The stylist, a sharp-eyed woman named Mina, bowed slightly. We have selections for tonight's dinner. Mr. Kong indicated you prefer elegance over ostentation. He said that. He's very specific about details. Mina gestured to a rack of dresses. These are all appropriate for the venue and occasion, but distinctive enough to make a statement. Gold examined the options. Most were beautiful but safe. Then her eye caught on a dress at the end, deep red, sleek, with a neckline that was daring without being inappropriate. That one, she decided. Mina smiled. An excellent choice. Bold. Mr. Kang will approve. I'm not choosing it for his approval. Of course not. But he'll appreciate it nonetheless. Mina pulled the dress from the rack. The color suits you. Red for passion and power. Or danger. Often the same thing. The dress fit perfectly, clinging to curves Gold had forgotten she had. The makeup artist worked subtle magic, making her eyes dramatic and her lips the same deep red as the dress. Her hair was styled in a sleek updo that emphasized her neck and shoulders. When she finally looked in the mirror, a stranger looked back. Someone sophisticated. Dangerous. Powerful. You look like you belong in his world, Mina observed. That's what matters tonight. Confidence. A knock at the door. Do-hyun entered, stopped, and simply stared. Is it too much? Gold asked, suddenly uncertain. It's perfect. His voice was rougher than usual. He'd changed into a tuxedo that made him look like sin packaged for formal occasions. You'll stop every conversation when you enter that room. That's good. That's victory. He offered his arm. Ready to meet the wolves? Gold took a breath and placed her hand on his arm. As ready as I'll ever be. The drive to the hotel hosting the dinner took 30 minutes. Do-hyun spent it briefing her on who would be there, politicians, business leaders, crime bosses in expensive suits. The Choi family will be watching for any sign of weakness, he said. Don't give them one. Stay beside me. If anyone makes you uncomfortable, tell me immediately. You'll what, break their legs at a formal dinner? If necessary. He wasn't joking. These people respect force and status. Tonight, you're displaying both. The hotel ballroom was excessive crystal chandeliers, gold accents, hundreds of people in formal wear. Conversations died and resumed in waves as Gold and Do-hyun entered. She felt every eye turn toward them, felt the weight of judgment and speculation. Do-hyun's hand settled at the small of her back, possessive and grounding. "Breathe," he murmured. "You're magnificent." They moved through the crowd. People approached carefully, offering congratulations on their marriage with varying degrees of sincerity. Gold smiled and nodded, letting Do-hyun handle most of the conversation. Then she saw them across the room. Min-jae and Choi Yoona, standing with an older man who could only be Yoona's father. Min-jae looked sick. Yoona looked murderous. The father looked calculating. "They're coming over," Gold said quietly. "Good. Let them." Do-hyun's voice was arctic. "Remember what I told you. You're my wife. That means you're untouchable." Choi Jin-woo reached them first, his daughter and Min-jae trailing behind. "Do-hyun, what an unexpected marriage. Life is full of surprises, Jin-woo." Do-hyun's tone was pleasant and completely empty of warmth. "You remember my wife, Gold." Jin-woo's eyes raked over her with assessment. "Of course. Congratulations on your rapid remarriage, Mrs. King." "Thank you." Gold kept her voice steady. "It's amazing how quickly life can improve when you remove the right obstacles." Min-jae flinched. Yoona's jaw tightened. "How diplomatic," Jin-woo said. "I hope this union doesn't complicate our business relationships, Do-hyun. That depends entirely on you." Do-hyun's hand pressed slightly against Gold's back. "My family is off limits. I trust that's understood." "Of course. Though accidents do happen in our line of work." "Yes." Do-hyun smiled. "It was terrible." "They do. I've caused several myself when necessary." The threat hung in the air between them, unspoken but crystal clear. Jin-woo's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "Enjoy the evening." He turned away, taking his daughter with him. Min-jae lingered, looking between Gold and Do-hyun. "Gold," he started. "Don't." Her voice cut sharp. "You have nothing to say that I want to hear. I made a mistake. You made a choice. For money." Gold stepped closer to Do-hyun, feeling his solid presence behind her. "And I made mine. Mine just happens to be worth more." She turned away, dismissing him. Behind her, she heard Do-hyun say something too quiet to catch, but Min-jae paled and retreated quickly. "What did you say to him?" Gold asked as they moved toward their table. "That if he approaches you again, I'll ensure he regrets it in ways he can't imagine." Do-hyun pulled out her chair. "Too protective?" "Just protective enough." Gold sat, her heart still racing from the confrontation. "This is exhausting." "You're doing perfectly. Better than perfectly." He sat beside her, angling his chair so his body partially blocked her from the rest of the room. "Jin-woo won't move against you directly after that exchange. It would be too obvious. So he'll move indirectly? Probably. But we'll be ready." The dinner progressed in courses of elaborate food Gold barely tasted. Do-hyun introduced her to key people, some allies, some neutral parties, all dangerous in their own ways. Through it all, she felt Yoona's eyes burning into her back. Finally, during dessert, Yoona approached their table alone. "Mrs. Kong, might I have a word?" Woman to woman. Do-hyun's hand tightened on his fork. "No, I'm not afraid of her," Gold said quietly. Then, to Yoona, "Fine. Here. Say whatever you need to say." Yoona's smile was poisonous. "You think you've won something. But you're just a replacement. A trophy for him to show off while he conducts his real business. And you think you're different? Didn't your father buy Min-jae for you like an expensive accessory? At least I know my place. You're playing at being a mafia wife. It's going to get you killed." Gold stood, meeting Yoona's height. "Maybe. But at least I'll die as myself, not as daddy's pawn in a business deal." For a moment, she thought Yoona might actually attack her. Then Do-hyun rose, placing himself between them. "This conversation is over," he said quietly. "Walk away, Miss Choi. While you still can." Yoona's eyes flicked between them, then she turned and stalked off. Gold's legs felt shaky, but she remained standing. Around them, people had stopped even pretending not to watch. Do-hyun turned to face the room. His voice carried without shouting. "My wife is under my protection. Completely. Absolutely. Anyone who forgets this will learn why I've maintained my position for 15 years. Silence. Then slowly, conversations resumed. We're leaving, Do-hyun said, taking Gold's hand. Now. They walked out together through the staring crowd, Gold's head high despite the adrenaline crash making her dizzy. In the car, reaction hit. Gold started shaking. You were incredible, Do-hyun said, pulling her against him. Absolutely incredible. I think I'm going to be sick. Breathe. Just breathe. You face them down, Gold. The entire room saw that you're not afraid. I was terrified. And you did it anyway. That's courage. His arms tightened around her. You're remarkable. Gold turned her face into his shoulder, breathing in his scent, letting his solidity anchor her. Take me home. Already done. They rode in silence, Do-hyun holding her close. Gold felt the tremors gradually ease, replaced by something else, awareness of his body against hers, his heartbeat steady under her ear, his hand stroking her back in slow, soothing circles. When they reached the house, he helped her out of the car and into the quiet sanctuary of their home. Whiskey, he offered. God, yes. He poured 2 glasses, handed her one. They stood in the dim living room, the city lights glittering through the windows. You called this home, Do-hyun said softly. What? In the car. You said take me home. Not take me back. Home. Gold realized he was right. Somehow, in just 2 days, this place had become home. Or maybe it was his presence that felt like safety. I suppose it is now, she said. Good. He set down his glass and cupped her face in both hands. Gold. What you did tonight, standing up to Jinwoo, to Yuna, to Min-jae, that took real strength. I need you to know I see that. I see you. Do-hyun. I know this marriage started as a transaction. Protection for political advantage. But you're not just a tool to me. You matter. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. Gold set down her glass. Stepped closer. Made her choice. Kiss me, she whispered. Properly this time. His eyes searched hers. You're sure? I'm sure. Do-hyun's mouth came down on hers, and the kiss was nothing like the brief press of lips at their wedding. This was heat and hunger, his hands sliding into her hair, her fingers gripping his shoulders. He tasted like whiskey and want. She opened to him, and his tongue swept into her mouth, claiming her with thorough intensity. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his eyes had gone dark. We should stop, he said roughly. Why? Because if we don't, I won't want to. And you've had an intense day. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. Gold traced his jaw. I want this. I want you. Gold. Unless you don't want me. His laugh was strained. I want you so badly I've barely slept since meeting you. But I won't take advantage. Then don't take. I'm giving. She kissed him again, softer this time. I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Is that clear enough? For answer, Do-hyun lifted her into his arms and carried her toward his suite, kicking the door closed behind them. Tonight had changed everything. And Gold was done pretending she didn't want it to. Morning light filtered through unfamiliar curtains. Gold woke slowly, awareness returning in layers. She was in Do-hyun's bed. His arm was wrapped around her waist, his body warm against her back. The events of last night came rushing back, the dinner, the confrontation, the kiss that had led to so much more. She felt his breathing change, knew he was awake. Regrets? His voice was rough with sleep against her ear. No, Gold turned in his arms to face him. In the morning light, he looked younger, less dangerous. Almost vulnerable. You. Never. His hand came up to trace her face. But we need to talk about what this means. It means I wanted you. You wanted me. We acted on it. It means you're not just my wife on paper anymore. Do-hyun's dark eyes held hers. It means this is real. And in my world, real things become targets. I'm already a target. Now you're a target they'll work harder to reach. Because they'll see that you matter to me. His jaw tightened. I can protect you from external threats. But I need you to be smart, Gold. No unnecessary risks. Define unnecessary. Don't go anywhere alone. Don't trust anyone I haven't vetted. Don't let your guard down, even for a moment. He pulled her closer. I can't lose you. I won't. The intensity in his voice made her chest ache. This happened fast. Yes. Too fast for logic, not fast enough for what I feel. Do-hyun kissed her forehead. But we work with what we have. And what we have is dangerous and complicated and completely unavoidable. Gold traced the hard planes of his chest, feeling his heartbeat under her palm. Teach me then. How to survive in your world. How to be what you need. You're already what I need. But I'll teach you how to be safe. He captured her hand, brought it to his lips. Starting with today. We're going to my main office. You're going to meet my key people. Learn the structure. Throwing me into the deep end? Teaching you to swim before someone tries to drown you. They rose and dressed. Do-hyun in another perfect suit, golden clothes from her new wardrobe, tailored pants and a silk blouse that walked the line between professional and formidable. The drive to his office took them to a sleek high-rise in Gangnam. The building looked legitimate, glass and steel, corporate branding, business people coming and going. But Gold noticed the security. Cameras everywhere. Men in suits who moved with military precision. We operate several legitimate businesses, Do-hyun explained as they rode the elevator to the top floor. Import-export, real estate, financial consulting. The legal enterprises fund and cover the illegal ones. What are the illegal ones? Information brokering, protection services, strategic problem solving for clients who can't go through official channels. His mouth curved slightly. We don't deal drugs or traffic people. Those are lines I won't cross. But you'll burn down buildings? Only when someone threatens mine first. The elevator doors opened. Remember, everyone here works for me. They're loyal, but they're also watching. Assessing. Show strength. The office was immaculate, expensive furniture, city views, the hum of purposeful activity. People looked up as Do-hyun entered, their expressions ranging from curiosity to calculation. Everyone, Do-hyun's voice carried authority. This is my wife, Gold. She has full access to me and to information. Her word carries my weight. Treat her accordingly. A woman approached, tall, severe, maybe 40. Mrs. Kong. I'm Park Seo-yeon, Mr. Kang's primary assistant. If you need anything, you can come to me. Thank you. Gold shook her hand, noting the assessing look in Seo-yeon's eyes. Do-hyun led her through introductions. His financial manager. His head of security. His legal counsel. Each one studied her with the same evaluating gaze, weighing whether she was an asset or a liability. In Do-hyun's private office, he pulled up files on a computer. These are the major players in Seoul's underground. You should know who they are. Gold studied the photographs and dossiers. The Choi family featured prominently, along with several other organizations. This is like a corporate org chart for criminals. It's exactly that. Power structures, alliances, conflicts, it all maps out if you know how to look. Do-hyun pointed to one file. This is Kim Tae-woo. He runs the Incheon ports. We have an understanding, he doesn't interfere with my operations, I don't interfere with his. And the Choi family? Direct competitors. They want what I have. Territory, influence, respect. Jin-woo has been positioning himself to take over for years. Why hasn't he? Because I'm better at this than he is. Smarter, more ruthless, more connected. Do-hyun's tone was matter of fact. But he's persistent. And marrying you gave him another angle of attack. Before Gold could respond, Seo-yeon knocked and entered. Sir, we have a situation. The Incheon deal, Kim is backing out. Do-hyun's expression hardened. When? His representative called an hour ago. He's citing political complications from your recent marriage. The Choi family got to him. Do-hyun stood. Set up a meeting. Today. I'll handle this personally. After Seo-yeon left, Gold asked, what does this mean? It means Jin-woo is making moves faster than anticipated. He's leveraging your presence to destabilize my alliances. Do-hyun pulled out his phone. I need to go to Incheon. You'll stay here with security. No. He looked up sharply. This isn't negotiable. You said I have full access to information. That I'm your partner. Gold stood. I'm coming with you. If this is about me, I should be there. It's dangerous. Everything about this life is dangerous. You can't protect me by hiding me away. She moved closer. Let me help. Let me show your allies that I'm not a weakness. Do-hyun studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. All right, but you stay close to me. You don't speak unless I indicate you should. And if things go wrong, you do exactly what I say. Understood. Understood. The drive to Incheon took 90 minutes. Gold sat beside Do-hyun in the back seat while 2 security vehicles flanked them. He spent the drive on his phone, speaking in terse Korean that she mostly understood, arrangements, contingencies, threats veiled in polite language. Kim is weak, Do-hyun said after ending a call. He responds to pressure. Jinwoo likely offered him something he wants, money, protection, territory. I need to offer him something better. Or remind him why betraying you is a bad idea? That too. He took her hand. When we get there, Kim will try to read our relationship. He'll be looking for cracks, for signs that you're a liability. Don't give him any. What should I do? Be exactly what you were last night. Strong. Unafraid. Mine. They met Kim at a restaurant he owned, a seafood place near the docks that smelled of salt and money. Kim was a heavy-set man in his 50s, all false smiles and nervous energy. Do-hyun. Mrs. Kong. Please sit. He gestured to a private room in the back. They sat. Do-hyun kept Gold at his right hand, a position of honor. Kim noticed, his eyes flicking between them. I appreciate you meeting on short notice, Do-hyun said. Though I'm curious why a meeting was necessary. We had an agreement. Circumstances change. Kim poured soju with shaking hands. Your recent marriage has complicated matters. How so? The Choi family has concerns. They suggest that your personal affairs may impact our business relationships. The Choi family, Do-hyun said softly, doesn't dictate my personal or professional decisions. I'm surprised you'd let them dictate yours. Kim's face flushed. They made certain guarantees, which they can't keep. Jinwoo is overextended. He's promised you what? Better rates? Protection from competitors? He can't deliver either without destabilizing his own operations. He seemed very confident. He's desperate. There's a difference. Do-hyun leaned back. I've worked with you for 8 years, Kim. Our arrangement has made you wealthy and kept your ports secure. Now Jinwoo whispers promises, and you're ready to throw that away. I have to think of my interests. Then think clearly. Do-hyun's voice dropped. My marriage strengthens my position. It shows the world that I'm building something permanent, something generational. The Choi family is flailing because they see that. They're trying to turn my strength into my weakness. Gold felt the moment shift. Felt Kim wavering. Mrs. Kong. Kim turned to her. You understand that your presence complicates things? Before Do-hyun could intervene, Gold spoke. I understand that weak men see complications where strong men see opportunities. My husband married me because I make him stronger, not weaker. If you can't see that, perhaps you're not the ally he needs. Silence. Kim stared at her. Then he laughed, surprised and genuine. She is fire. Jinwoo's daughter is all ice and calculation. No wonder he's worried. So, Do-hyun's tone remained neutral. Do we have an agreement? Or should I start making alternative arrangements for my shipments? Kim studied them both, then nodded slowly. We have an agreement. The original terms stand. Good. Do-hyun stood, helping Gold to her feet. I appreciate your loyalty, Kim. It won't be forgotten. Outside, in the car, Do-hyun pulled Gold against him and kissed her hard. That was perfect. You were perfect. I just told the truth. You showed him that we're united. That you're not a pawn. His hand cupped her face. You're learning fast. I had a good teacher. They returned to Seoul as the sun set, painting the city in shades of gold and shadow. But the peace was short-lived. Seo-yeon called as they entered the house. Sir, there's been an incident. A fire at one of our warehouses in Bucheon. Arson, definitely. No casualties, but significant inventory loss. Do-hyun's expression went cold. The Choi family? Almost certainly. This is retaliation for Kim. Escalate security protocols. I want eyes on all our properties. And find out who set the fire. I want names. After he hung up, Gold asked, what happens now? Now it becomes a real war. Do-hyun moved to the window, looking out at Seoul. Jinwoo won't stop with property damage. He'll keep pushing until I push back harder. How will you push back? By making it clear that attacks on my interests are attacks on me. and attacks on me are met with overwhelming force. He turned to face her. This is what I didn't want you to see. The ugly part. The part where people get hurt. I'm not naive, Do-hyun. I knew what I was getting into. Did you? He crossed to her. This isn't drama or excitement anymore. This is real danger. Jinwoo just declared open war. You're in the crossfire whether I want you there or not. Then teach me how to fight back. Something fierce and possessive flared in his eyes. You want to fight? I want to survive. I want to win. Gold grabbed his shirt, pulled him closer. And I want to make sure the Choi family regrets ever thinking I was an easy target. Do-hyun kissed her like he was claiming her soul. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with promise and threat. All right, then we fight together. If you're on the edge of your seat right now, hit that subscribe button because this war is about to get intense. Drop a comment telling me who you think wins this, Team Kang or Team Choi. The next week was a blur of strategy and strikes. Do-hyun taught Gold to read financial reports that hid criminal operations, showed her how to spot surveillance, introduced her to the weapons safe in his office. I don't expect you to use these, he said, showing her a compact pistol. But you should know how, just in case. They spent an afternoon at a private range. Gold had never fired a gun before, but Do-hyun was patient, standing behind her to adjust her stance, his hands guiding hers. Breathe out as you squeeze, he instructed. Don't pull, squeeze. The gun fired. The target shuddered with a hole 3 inches from center. Again. By the end of the session, Gold was hitting center mass consistently. Do-hyun looked at her with something like pride. Natural talent. Or maybe you're just motivated. Both. The Choi family didn't stop with the warehouse. A week later, one of Do-hyun's financial consultants was arrested on tax evasion charges that were clearly fabricated. Jinwoo had bought someone in the prosecutor's office. Do-hyun retaliated by exposing a Choi family money laundering operation. 3 of their lower-level operatives were arrested. The investigation would eventually lead nowhere. Too many paid officials, but it sent a message. We can hurt you too. Through it all, Gold stayed at Do-hyun's side. She attended meetings, learned names and faces, absorbed the complex web of alliances and betrayals that made up his world. And at night, in his bed, they found moments of peace in the chaos. His touch grounded her. Her presence softened something in him that had been hardened for years. I didn't expect this, Do-hyun admitted one night, holding her close. To care this much. To need you this much. Is that a problem? It's dangerous. Caring makes you vulnerable. His hand stroked her hair. But I wouldn't change it. Even knowing the risk. Neither would I. A month after their marriage, Jinwoo made his most aggressive move yet. Gold was leaving a coffee shop, accompanied by 2 security guards, following all protocols, when a car pulled up fast. The guards reacted instantly, pushing her back as men emerged with weapons. It happened in seconds. Gunfire. Her guards returning fire. Someone grabbing her arm, trying to drag her toward the car. Then Do-hyun's voice, cold with fury. Let her go. He stood 10 feet away with 5 of his men, all armed. The Choi operatives froze. This is bold, even for Jinwoo, Do-hyun said softly. Attempting kidnapping in broad daylight. We have orders, one man started. I don't care about your orders. You have 3 seconds to release my wife and disappear. Or you die here in the street. The man holding Gold's arm hesitated. Then Do-hyun's gun moved with casual precision, and the shot took the man's hand, not killing, but devastating. The man screamed, releasing Gold. She ran to Do-hyun, and his arm came around her immediately, protective and possessive. Tell Jinwoo this is his last warning, Do-hyun said to the remaining men. The next person who touches her dies. The person who ordered it dies. Everyone connected to them dies. Go. They fled, leaving their wounded colleague. Do-hyun turned Gold to face him, searching her face. Are you hurt? No. Scared, but not hurt. Her hands shook as she gripped his jacket. You were already here. You knew this would happen. I had intelligence about a possible move. I was following you. His jaw tightened. This is too dangerous, Gold. Jinwoo is getting desperate. So we end it. Permanently. How? Gold's mind raced, thinking through everything she'd learned. You said Jinwoo is overextended. He's making promises he can't keep. What if we expose that? Show everyone that he's weak? He's not weak enough yet. He still has resources, allies. Then we take those away. Systematically. Gold looked up at him. You've been playing defense. It's time to go on offense. Something changed in Do-hyun's expression. You have an idea. Several. But they're risky. Tell me. They went back to the house. In Do-hyun's office, Gold laid out her thoughts. The Choi family's power comes from three sources: their legitimate businesses, their criminal operations, and their political connections. We attack all three simultaneously. How? The legitimate businesses. We start rumors about financial instability. Cause their stock prices to drop. Make their partners nervous. Gold pulled up documents on his computer, things she'd been studying. Their criminal operations, we expose them subtly, feeding information to law enforcement in ways that can't be traced back to us. Their political connections, we make those connections expensive. Remind politicians that being associated with the Choi family is dangerous. Do-hyun listened, his expression intent. This would take months. Coordination. Resources. But it would work. Better than open warfare that destroys everyone. It would also require getting inside their operations. Understanding their structure intimately. I know someone who might help with that, Gold said quietly. Min-jae. Do-hyun's eyes went cold. No. Hear me out. He's weak, opportunistic, and probably scared now that he sees what he's gotten into with the Choi family. If we offer him immunity, protection, a way out, he might give us information. Or he might run to Jinwoo and tell him everything. Not if we make the offer correctly. Not if we make him more afraid of them than of us. Gold met his gaze steadily. I know how to manipulate him, Do-hyun. I was married to him for 3 years. I know his weaknesses. Which means seeing him again. Talking to him. Yes. I don't like it. I know. But it's strategic. And it might save lives, including ours. Do-hyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled her onto his lap, holding her close. You've become dangerous, Gold. Strategic, calculating, willing to use any advantage. I should be concerned. Are you? I'm proud. He kissed her temple. All right. We do this your way. But I'm there when you meet him. And if he makes one wrong move, you'll destroy him. I know. Gold turned in his arms. But you have to let me lead the conversation. He needs to think he has power, think he's making his own choice. You're sure you can handle seeing him? I'm sure I can use him. There's a difference. The meeting was arranged at a neutral location, a restaurant owned by neither the Kang nor Choi families. Min-jae arrived looking haggard, his previous confidence completely eroded. Gold sat across from him with Do-hyun beside her, a unified front. Gold. Min-jae's voice cracked slightly. You look different. I am different. She kept her tone neutral. Thank you for meeting us. Did I have a choice? Your husband's message was pretty clear. You always have choices, Min-jae. That's what you taught me. Gold leaned forward. We have a proposition. Help us and we'll help you. Help you how? Information. About the Choi family's operations. What they're planning, who their allies are, where their vulnerabilities lie. Min-jae laughed bitterly. You want me to betray Jinwoo? He'll kill me. He'll kill you anyway, Do-hyun said quietly. Eventually. When you're no longer useful. You know how this works, Min-jae. You've seen enough. So what, I betray him and you protect me? Why would I trust you? Because unlike Jinwoo, I keep my promises, Do-hyun said. Give us actionable intelligence. In return, you get protection, a new identity if necessary, and enough money to start over somewhere far from Seoul. And if I refuse? Then you stay caught between two organizations at war. How long do you think you'll survive? Min-jae looked between them, his face pale. I never wanted this. The business deal seemed simple. Good for my company. I didn't know. You didn't want to know, Gold interrupted. You chose money over integrity. Over me. Now you're paying the price. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. It's worth nothing. But you can still make better choices. She pushed a folder across the table. This is a contract. Immunity from prosecution for your testimony. Protection. A future. Sign it. Min-jae opened the folder with shaking hands. This is really happening. I'm really turning informant. You're saving your life, Do-hyun corrected. Everything else is just details. After a long moment, Min-jae signed. The intelligence Min-jae provided was devastating. Financial records, meeting schedules, names of corrupted officials, details of criminal operations that could bring down the entire Choi Empire. Gold and Do-hyun spent weeks carefully deploying this information. A leak here to the press. A tip there to law enforcement. Strategic revelations that made the Choi family look incompetent and dangerous simultaneously. Jin-woo's legitimate business partners started distancing themselves. His political allies suddenly remembered prior commitments. His criminal operations faced increased scrutiny. The empire didn't collapse overnight, but it started to crack. It's working, Seo-yeon reported at a strategy meeting. The Choi family stock has dropped 20%. 3 of their major contracts were cancelled. Jin-woo is hemorrhaging money trying to maintain appearances. Keep the pressure on, Do-hyun ordered. But carefully. We don't want him desperate enough to do something catastrophic. Too late. Desperation makes people dangerous. Jin-woo's response was direct and brutal. He went after Gold personally. She was in the house, supposedly safe, surrounded by security, when the breach happened. Professional mercenaries, not Choi family thugs. Well-trained. Well-armed. They took out the security team with military efficiency. Gold heard the commotion, grabbed the pistol Do-hyun had insisted she keep, and locked herself in the safe room he'd shown her. The room was steel-reinforced, virtually impenetrable. She called Do-hyun. They're in the house, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. I'm in the safe room. I'm 15 minutes away. His voice was tight with controlled fury. Stay there. Don't open the door for anyone but me. Do-hyun. I'll get to you. I promise. The line went dead. Gold could hear them outside, trying to breach the door. The steel held, but every impact made her flinch. Then she heard Jin-woo's voice. Mrs. Kong. This is counterproductive. Come out, and this ends peacefully. You're offering peace while trying to break down my door? Gold called back. Forgive me if I'm skeptical. Your husband has destroyed my life's work. Turned my allies against me. Ruined my reputation. I simply want to have a conversation about ending hostilities. By kidnapping me? By acquiring leverage. Jin-woo sounded almost reasonable. He cares about you. Too much. That's his weakness. So you're coming with me, and we're going to negotiate terms. He'll kill you if you hurt me. He'll negotiate if he wants you back alive. Gold heard more impacts on the door. They weren't breaking through, but they were trying. Then suddenly, gunfire. Distant but intense. Shouting in Korean. Do-hyun had arrived. The sounds of combat intensified. Gold pressed against the wall, pistol ready, heart hammering. Then silence. A knock on the safe room door. Gold. It's me. You're safe. She recognized Do-hyun's voice, but followed protocol. What did you say to me on our wedding night? That you're stronger than you realize. A pause. And that I can't lose you. Gold opened the door. Do-hyun stood there, blood on his suit, murder in his eyes. But when he saw her, something in his expression cracked. He pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. You're all right. You're all right. I'm fine. What happened? Jin-woo made his play. He lost. Do-hyun pulled back to look at her. It's over, Gold. He's dead. You killed him. I did what was necessary to protect what's mine. His hand cupped her face. I will always do what's necessary. Do you understand that? Gold looked into his dark eyes and saw the monster everyone feared. But she also saw the man who'd given her power, who'd taught her to fight, who'd chosen her when everyone else had thrown her away. I understand. And I wouldn't change it. They stood in the wreckage of their home, surrounded by the aftermath of violence, and Gold felt something settle in her chest. This was her life now. Dangerous. Bloody. Unforgiving. But it was hers. And she was powerful in it. The cleanup took days. Jin-woo's death was ruled a conflict between criminal organizations. The police investigation went nowhere, as expected. The Choi family empire crumbled without his leadership. Yuna tried to hold it together, but lacked her father's cunning and connections. Within a month, the Choi family was finished as a major power. Their assets were absorbed by other organizations, primarily Do-hyun's. Minjae got his new identity and left Seoul. Gold didn't know where he went and didn't care. The city's underground restructured itself around Do Hyan's uncontested dominance. People who'd been neutral suddenly wanted to be allies. His word became law in ways it hadn't been before. And Gold stood beside him through all of it. 3 months after Jinwoo's death, they hosted a formal dinner, their first major social event since the war ended. Gold wore black, elegant, and lethal-looking. "You've changed," Seo-yeon observed as she helped prepare for the evening. "When you first arrived, you were a victim wearing armor. Now you're a weapon wearing a dress. Is that a compliment?" "It's an observation." "And yes." Seo-yeon smiled slightly. "Mr. Kong chose well. You've made him stronger, not weaker." The dinner was a display of power. Every major player in Seoul's underworld attended. They came to show respect, to acknowledge the new order. Gold stood beside Do Hyan as they greeted guests, her hand in his, projecting unity and strength. Kim approached, bowing deeply. "Mrs. Kong, you were right that day in Incheon. Strength sees opportunity where weakness sees complications. I'm glad I chose correctly." "So am I," Gold said graciously. "For both our sakes." As the evening progressed, Gold found herself alone on the balcony for a moment, looking out at Seoul. Do Hyan joined her, sliding his arms around her waist from behind. "Tired? Thinking about how different my life is now." She leaned back against him. 6 months ago, I was being divorced and sold. Now I'm the most feared woman in Seoul?" Do Hyan finished. "My equal and partner? The person who brought down a criminal empire with strategy and intelligence. Is that what I am? That's what you've become." He turned her to face him. "You weren't sold anymore, Gold. You were chosen. By me. And in the end, you chose this life, this power yourself." Gold looked up at him, this dangerous, complicated man who'd given her everything she hadn't known she needed. "I love you," she said. Simple. True. Do Hyan's expression softened in a way she rarely saw. "I love you. Completely. Dangerously. Forever." He kissed her there on the balcony, with Seoul glittering below them like a kingdom they'd conquered together. Inside, their guests continued their political dances. Outside, the city hummed with the knowledge that the Kang family was untouchable. And Gold, who'd been sold like property, who'd been seen as weak and disposable, stood as proof that underestimating someone could be fatal. She wasn't a victim anymore. She was power personified. She was exactly where she belonged. If you've made it this far, you know this story was about more than revenge. It was about a woman discovering she was always strong enough to rule. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what you thought of Gold's transformation from sold wife to mafia queen. And if you want more stories like this, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story, ****. Years from now, people would tell the story of Gold Kang, the woman who married into the mafia as revenge and stayed because she became more powerful than anyone imagined. They'd whisper about how she'd brought down empires with intelligence and strategy. How she'd stood beside Kang Do Hyan not as decoration but as equal force. How underestimating her was the last mistake several people ever made. But those stories would miss the most important part. Gold hadn't been saved by Do Hyan. She'd saved herself. He'd simply given her the tools and the space to become who she was always meant to be. Dangerous. Brilliant. Unstoppable. A queen who'd forged her crown from the ashes of betrayal and emerged stronger for it. And in the end, that was the only story that mattered.